You will need to ignore the slightly weird camera angle, but the sun is in just an inconvenient spot. Now, what we are doing today is testing the ammo that I got from Centerfire Systems. So first we're going to shoot the SMK. Now, I specifically chose rounds that did have some rusty primers because I wanted to see what would happen. I want to see how they would work, since that is something that could cause the rounds to not go off when we fire them. Now, I am shooting this through my 24-47 because the 24-47, one, has an upgraded firing pin that I bought from Wolf Springs, but also, two, it has the ability to handle some extra gas into the system in case there's something like a ruptured case, and, well, these rounds had some rust on them. I didn't see any super deep pitting, but since a ruptured case was a higher likelihood with this ammo, I wanted to have the gun that it can handle that better. So I want to be clear, nothing should explode. However, it is possible that I have a little bit higher gas pressure than usual, but the good news is that the Yugoslavian rifles handle gas really well. Now, this is the German SMK ammo from Centerfire Systems. All right, one clip off of that hitch. That's actually good news. Let's shoot our second one. These are the really cheap Turkish stripper clips that came with these rounds, or with the Turkish rounds that I also got. They are showing to be as cheap and crappy as they always do. And I'm not seeing anything unusual on these cases. They aren't sticking in the chamber much, but they are sticking in the chamber a little bit. So you'll notice I am dropping the gun down before I open the bolt. That's because they are sticking just a touch inside. So that's my way around that. All right, this first one in here that's gonna fire, if I can get it in there. This clip might have just gotten a bit jammed. All right, the rims of these are rusty and a little bit dirty, and this clip is bent out of shape. So between the two of those, it was hard to load. All right, that is all of my German ammo. 15 shots, they all went off without a hitch. We didn't really have any issues other than it was slightly sticky opening the bolt after I fired them, which with the case of this brass, it seems to kind of make sense since the steel cases were just a little bit rusty. However, they did all fire. I didn't get any gas blowback into my face, at least that I noticed. And I'll definitely collect all of these and I'll show them to you later so that you can see, and we'll just debrief how they performed. All right, next up, we have the famed Turkish ammo. And this is the other type of stripper clip that they came with. It looks like the Romanian ones, except they're all made of brass, they're not made of steel. So we're gonna see how this strips in. Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, also, you notice I was having a hard time feeding it. That was just, again, because the rounds were a little bit rusty. It didn't cause any jams, but it did just mean that there was some extra friction as I was pushing it in, just because the rounds were a little bit dirty. All right, now it's time for the Turkish ammo. As usual, these are a little spicy. All right, there is a touch of cratering on this primer, but honestly, it doesn't look that bad. I've definitely seen worse. My rifle is missing one of its locking screws, so especially with the spicy ammo, the screws do come a little bit undone. Okay, that actually looked really good. All right, now the earliest ammo that I had enough of that I wanted to test, but not enough of that I wanted to save it for a future video, was from I think 1938. So this is the earliest Turkish ammo that I've personally seen. I wanted to fire just a few rounds of this. I only have 3 that I wanted to fire, and just see how it did compared to the other ammo, especially with reliability. I know what you're thinking. Did I fire 3 shots or only 2? Frankly, in all this excitement, I actually lost count myself. All right, now enough time has passed. I'm going to open this up with it pointed down range. Okay, I did actually fire all 3. I just didn't notice. Let's shoot one more clip of this Turkish ammo just to see how it does again. I am actually really happy with this purchase. This Turkish ammo can be a little bit spicy, and that can cause problems in certain guns. Particularly, you shouldn't shoot it in semi-autos or in extremely valuable rifles because they have been known to crack stocks. This 2447 isn't necessarily in great shape, and it does have some repairs on it. I obviously don't want it to break, but if it did, it wouldn't be the end of the world. That sounded like a really, really minor hang fire. Oh, and by the way, I'm back to ammo from in 1943. All right, with all that shooting, let's go take a look at the target. So ignore these 3 rounds down here. Our actual group was up here. We are hitting high, but this Mauser in particular is sighted for the minimum distance of 200 meters because, well, minute of man and all that. As you can tell, it is pretty centered, although it is just a little bit right. That's because a lot of those German rounds were hitting right. However, the Turkish rounds were hitting a little bit more to the center. I didn't show you guys, but it did come and look at it to verify that. So, I mean, that's obviously not outstanding. I was just kind of shooting quick. I was more interested in seeing how the ammo fired, not actually how accurate it was, but it's not terrible either. The major thing we want to notice is there is no keyholing. The only times that we have elongated holes is when we have multiple rounds hitting one place. All right, I am back at home. These are the rounds that I shot. I didn't find all of the brass casings, but I did find several of them, so I think this should give us a pretty good image. These are the rounds from 1944, the Turkish rounds, so you can see the primer on this one at least is cratering a little bit, but this one isn't. But the primer is not bulging out of the primer pocket at all. And if it was bulging out of the primer pocket, that would mean that it was really, really overpressured. This is just, well, slightly overpressured. But with the Turkish ammo, this is pretty standard. This is the round from 1934, so it's a pretty old round, and even it had no problems. There's no cracking around the case mouth or any other issues to be associated there. All right, now let's look at these German rounds. These German ones were pretty rusty, as you can see. I'm going to shine a flashlight down inside here. We'll see if it's rusty on the inside. Okay, so it doesn't look like it. Later in the war, Germany started sending their rounds through less of a process, and one of the side effects of that was that the rounds got rusty on the inside as the powder has begun to break down over the years. But aside from the visual signs of rust, there is nothing on these rounds that signifies any real major issues. You can tell that even some of these primers are a little bit rusty, but there's nothing to cause alarm for overpressure or anything of the sort. So if I had a semi-auto, I wouldn't shoot any of this ammo in that semi-auto. Even though these German rounds are shooting clean and don't seem to be shooting too hot, I still wouldn't want to shoot these in a semi-auto just because they are a little bit more sketchy, and semi-autos can, well, have some issues with more sketchy ammo. But all I have is bolt guns, and so these rounds I do feel comfortable shooting it in my 98 pattern Mauser bolt guns. If I had a Gewehr 88, I wouldn't be shooting these, but with Mauser pattern bolt actions, I feel fine shooting this ammo.
Which proves it's hard to get the best of a man named John. John.